Hey guys, ekolimits here. I just wanted to share with you guys my stream setup. Thank you all for subscribing. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, really amazing. So I wanted to do something special for it. So here we have a triple monitor set up on my old PC desk. In the middle is an Asus 144Hz gaming monitor, and that's more like what's really good about this gaming monitor versus a normal monitor. Like say I used to game on this one. This is a 24-inch. They're both actually 24-inch. This is a Dell, but this one had 5 millisecond response time, and the PlayStation 4 looked pretty good on it, except once I've hooked up this monitor, that 1 millisecond response time was just phenomenal. It looks so much better. It pops. Everything is really nice about it. I know I'm not getting the full fidelity of 144 Hz since PlayStation outputs about 60 Hz, but I still think it's worth it getting a decent gaming monitor. And eventually, if I do some PC gaming, I'm already set, you know? So that brings me to the next two monitors that I have here. This is the old gaming monitor that I used to use. It's a Dell. And like I said, it's just 5 millisecond response time, 24-inch. It was pretty good. I used it for many years, maybe like 7 or 8. Now it's just a side monitor, and this is actually not a 24, this is a 23. Another Dell, same year, and I think it just fits well. So I have this one going sideways because, as you can tell, I mean, this is my Twitch page. In a little box, that's where I watch the stream. You guys see it. And right here on the side is the chat, and since I have the monitor sideways, I can see a lot of the chat. So that's really cool. So whenever you see me looking in that direction, it's because I'm watching the chat. Alright. The other thing is I have the two cams. I use the PlayStation camera since I'm a PlayStation streamer. I have the Logitech just in case I ever do OBS streaming, and I've done that in the past, and I would love to do it again sometime. But I'm mainly a PlayStation streamer for now. We'll see what happens. The usual tabs that I keep open, I'll have the Twitch page, I'll have the YouTube page, Twitter in case you guys are chatting or something, Battle Log because that's a necessity, and here comes another one. I use Twitch alerts for streaming, and I'll give you a preview. So I'll test the follow alert, and that's when you hear that sound, and it gives me this little guy. I don't know why, but sure. And it says who's following, and that's how come I'm able to say, hey, thank you for the follow, ekolimits. Welcome to the stream. And then I have the Gmail inbox. Keeps track of how many follows we get in one day or not. So that's what I usually have open. Obviously here I'm gaming, you know what, PlayStation. And on this side, I keep my AverMedia window open. That's recording through this button right here. And I have the AverMedia Live Gamer HD. That's in my PC, right on the side, right there. So that's connected straight into my PC, and I haven't tried any USB powered recording devices like the AverMedias or maybe Elgato's. I just feel like if it's gonna be a component that goes straight into your PC, it should be a little bit better. That's why I really wanted this one, and my girlfriend got me a Christmas gift. It was a really nice Christmas gift. Actually, this triple monitor stand is also a Christmas gift. So then there's Ultimate Twitch Bot, and if you're starting up a stream, I wholeheartedly recommend having a username that doesn't have numbers is always better. I always find that it's easier for people to identify you than rather than ekolimits 2, 4, 5. You know, that's kind of just like a rule of thumb. And then make sure you reserve your own bot name. Like I have EchoBot. I mean, it would really suck if someone took it, you know? So you have to keep in mind those kind of things if you're really gonna start something up. So that's my Ultimate Twitch Bot, which is hooked in through EchoBot. It's a whole different user on Twitch that I created for my stream. So this is basically my setup. Now let's talk about some of the hardware I use. First of all, obviously we were playing on a PlayStation, so there's my PlayStation right there. Sadly, the PlayStation only has 2 USBs, and I'm going to power on the other second USB, which I have over here. I try to keep it neat, and it'll switch to my USB device. And now I have the microphone turned on. I swing it over, and this is basically how I stream. So I'll sit right here, I'll play with you guys, and then usually it's kind of closer, it's closer to my face, so it captures the audio. The microphone is a Blue Yeti. It is phenomenal. I wholeheartedly recommend it for PlayStation streamers especially. Even other streamers, I think it's a great device. Not only does it sound great, it's also very, very useful because I use this auxiliary cable that they have and I plug it in here. It's to hear yourself speaking. So when I put on the Astro A40 headset that I use for streaming, I swing it over my ears, and when I speak into the microphone, if I unmute it, I can hear myself speak. So that kind of allows me to audio balance myself, so I'm not screaming into the microphone, and it's really, really, really good. It has a lot of settings in the back. In the back, it has settings for mono. I think just one person speaking into it, kind of like podcast style. You can capture an entire room with it because it's actually got, I think, 3 receivers. And you can do dual, like say I'm in the front, you're in the back, 2 people streaming, talking into a mic, and it won't capture anything around from sideways. So it's got a lot of features. The one I use for it is kind of like the podcast style, just one person speaking into it directly in the front. It's about $150, but like I said, for PlayStation streamers, it's phenomenal. Because I USB connect it straight to my PlayStation 4, and after it's connected, I go into the devices. I can go right now. Settings. It is in devices and then audio devices. And both my input and output device are USB headset, Yeti stereo microphone, which is weird because you would think that the audio is going to be outputted to the microphone as well. PlayStation is very awkward in that manner. If I didn't have digital optical outputted to my Astro A40 mix amp, it would actually be throwing the audio back into the microphone where it has nowhere to go. PlayStation is not sophisticated in that manner where it doesn't split well input device and output devices. If I select an input device, it automatically selects that same device to be an output device because it thinks that these professional microphones are just gaming headsets. The Astro A40 comes with this removable mic. I don't use the mic while chatting because the version that I have with the Astro A40s, I have the old version. Just doesn't sound good on PlayStation, so we pop that out. That doesn't do anything for us. But to get my audio back inside my headset, so I hear it well, that's this audio out, and it goes into the mix amp, into the setting that's the MP3 setting. So the mix amp is used for live streamers very well because a lot of people like to add music to their streams, and that's if you're using the Astro A40s on a PC. You can add your own music. You can literally put your phone into it, iPod, anything, and it'll capture it. Now I capture the voice coming back inside, and I balance it. There's a gain and the voice balance. I turn that all the way to the gain dial because the voice part would be if the PlayStation would split it. It's very technical, but I'm trying to help you guys out. Many of you guys ask me how to do all this, and it's very, very specific when you do it with PlayStation. Maybe I should backtrack and tell you guys why. For instance, if I'm live streaming and I press the share button on this PlayStation, what ends up happening is 2 things. For you to be able to record, you obviously have some type of device going in. Like I have the Live Gamer HD, HDMI goes into it. Most people will pass through it, but I would suggest not to do a pass through. I actually have a splitter, and I have a splitter for 2 different reasons as well. The pass through usually gives you some type of latency. I don't really consider that as a good thing, especially when you're gaming. You want to do your best and stuff. Having that little bit of latency really sucks. You might also come in with issues the way the PlayStation picks up after the pass through. So the PlayStation hooks into the AV media, and the AV media tries to hook out to the gaming PC, and it creates a lot of issues where the PlayStation won't recognize that there is a monitor hooked up or a TV hooked up. I've had a lot of troubles with that. So I have a splitter. What's the splitter called? Give me a second. It's right here. It's called Jtech HDMI splitter. You can find it on Amazon. I'm gonna link it in the description below. And one other thing that it really does pretty awesome is PlayStation has its own HDCP protection, and what this splitter does is it actually bypasses it. Pretty interesting. So I can, if I wanted to, live stream protected content. But most of the time, like when I was streaming Arkham Knight, it has its own blackout sections on PlayStation streaming. So I had to finish it off by OBS. But I still suggest that you get a good splitter. This Jtech Splitter is phenomenal. My PlayStation goes into it, and it splits into two. One goes into the middle monitor, the gaming monitor, and the other goes into the Live Gamer HD straight into my PC. And that's how I capture the video. Now, to get the audio completely correct, when you stream from the PlayStation onto Twitch, it takes that audio that I speak into this microphone through this USB, and it gives it to Twitch. It does not output it through the HDMI for my AverMedia to capture it. So in order to capture that, that's where this comes in. Alright, I auxiliary out from the microphone to hear myself into the mix amp through an MP3 port. That mix amp mixes that volume, takes in the optical, and outputs it out into straight into my AverMedia. So now I'm getting the audio in through optical for my recording on the AverMedia. I'm also getting the microphone coming in as well, and I can balance the two. How high do I want to hear myself speak, or the volume on the game? And usually, like I said, I keep it fully on the game because I control my own volume by speaking too close or not too close to the microphone. Which brings me to the gain setting on the microphone. When you're streaming on a PlayStation, I don't know how the sensitivity really works, but what I've tested to be the best is to turn the gain all the way up, which sounds like nonsense, right? If I was streaming on a PC and I turned the gain all the way up, anybody down the street honking their horn, you'd hear them, because the sensitivity of the mic is now increased to the max. However, with the PlayStation, it muffles some of that, and just having the full gain on does not affect it completely. And even my recording, it does not capture like my AC going. I have an AC in the window here, so I stay cool while I game, because all this stuff is creating heat, So that's a weird setting. When it comes to the volume knob, I turn it all the way up. Like I said, once again, I control it mainly by just listening to myself speak in the headset, and just the distance-wise. So that kind of covers the Blue Yeti. Blue Yeti is phenomenal. Like I said, it's versatile. It comes with its own little stand, desk stand, and sometimes I'll game and I'll play. We'll play Magic the Gathering boosted drafts or something. And I'll put the mic right in the middle, change the settings to capture the whole room, gain maybe halfway because it's on through OBS, and PC settings are much more sensitive, and it'll capture the whole entire room, and we're having fun, But for the purpose of my live streams, day in and day out, when I stream on the PlayStation, it's the Blue Yeti, USB plugged in, input an audio device set to the Blue Yeti, not to the Mix Amp Pro, even though they're both plugged in. I plug in the Mix Amp so it powers on from the PlayStation. The secondary USB powers on the Blue Yeti. And like I said, auxiliary out to the MP3 port on the Mix Amp, and optical out from the PlayStation into the Mix Amp, and audio auxiliary out from the amp into my recording device, which is got that HDMI splitter, going into the monitor and into the AverMedia. If I change any settings, for instance, on here, you see that both screens move. My recording and the gaming monitor ones. And there's no lag here. Slight lag there. Just slight. Alright, so that covers it. Let's talk about this headset now. Astro A40s are a phenomenal device. They sound amazing. The mix amp can amp up so high, you're almost going to blink every time you take a sniper shot or a shot comes your way. That's how loud they get. So they're phenomenal at that, at the gaming part. I like the removable cord here. It's really nice. If something pulls on it, tugs on it, it gets removed. It comes with very nice, high quality cables. They're very pliable, and very useful. And quite long, I would say. Perfect enough for me. I don't really get farther than that from my equipment. Even when I get excited and I'm gaming and I just got a headshot or something, you know, you stand up and you're crazy about it. I just kind of usually just hang it on here on the side. I made a little thing to hang it here with. What can I say? Like I said, the mic is removable because the face plates are removable. They come right off. The mic can go on one side or the other. I just keep it on the left. That's fine with me. I barely use it. When I play off stream, I use it more often because that's when I'll maybe have this thing plugged in and charging. One downside of the PlayStation, it needs a little bit more USB ports. I would hope for them to make a slim with 4 ports. That would take care of me immensely. So let's put this down. Like I said, I wholeheartedly recommend having this combination for a PlayStation streamer because of the fact that Twitch does, when you stream off the PlayStation, you cannot capture your voice anyway. You cannot capture the voice anyway, other than taking that mic and having an auxiliary port. And the mix amp just works phenomenally. What's nice about it, you might be able to get the mix amp by itself and use your own headset. And it just plugs straight in here. There's nothing to it. But the mix amp itself is worth it. I think the mix amp is priced at $150. Together, you get a good package. It's at $250. And like I said, the cords and everything else is phenomenal. So, okay, we've talked about the 2 most important things, the headset, the microphone, and, well, I'll throw in a monitor as well. That's 3 most important things. The other thing I would stress is how are you connected to the internet? Okay, in my situation, I cannot run a cable. Obviously, going Ethernet cable from your router or even from your modem straight into your PlayStation is the best way to go. Now, I had quite a few problems. I've first started streaming with 15 megabytes per second down, 5 up, but then, you know, it creates kind of problems with grainy streams and everything else. So in order to clean that up, I got 50 megabytes per second down and 25 up. Plenty. That's plenty for 720p 30 frames per second streaming to Twitch. That's the max you want to do on Twitch. YouTube recordings, the AverMedia, I'm doing 1080p 60 frames per second. You might ask how? We'll get to that in a second, because that one really records at 720p 60 frames per second. I actually just upscale it through my software here, my post-production software. So the other thing is the internet. So I'm kind of limited. If I now Wi-Fi only the PlayStation, if I do a test, let's do a test live. If I do a test on the network, testing an internet connection, what's going to happen is connection speed is 16.3 down and 3.5 up. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird because I'm purchasing from my internet provider 50 down and 25 up. So what I ended up getting is, let's set up the internet connection different through a LAN cable. And I'll tell you guys what that's going to be like. So it's easy test internet connection. Now I'm getting 33 down and 6.9 up. So it doubled. What happened there? I have a D-Link, a bridge. I think it's just a bridge of some sort, wireless box. I might just link to it, what exactly it is. And basically what it does is, since my router's upstairs, it comes down the Wi-Fi, it captures the Wi-Fi, and then I LAN cable straight into it. So it gives me better connection, I can have a cleaner stream, everything's so much better. The only problem becomes, for some reason, the NAT type issue, PlayStation has a problem with. So if I go into a party chat, I'll immediately get kicked out. I haven't yet figured out the kinks in that, why it's doing that, in what kind of settings it's having an issue with. So if I want to do a game where I do a party chat, for instance, we streamed Last of Us on Wednesday, I just turn it straight to the Wi-Fi. I can create a party chat, no problem. Just the PlayStation has a limited Wi-Fi module installed. It's not as fast. I mean, all these speeds, having 33 down and 6.9 up, when I am allowed 50 down and 25 up. They're just estimates. They're actually going to be a little bit faster than what the PlayStation says. These are like the bare minimums that it's doing. But nonetheless, the Wi-Fi module has, maybe it's an outdated one. It doesn't have the capability of being LAN in. And if you don't have the opportunities like myself to be LAN in straight directly from your normal router, getting this D-Link Wi-Fi bridge, I believe it is, would help you a lot. So that's how I kind of maintain the connections. So let's see, I did cover just about everything except for the audio. Let's talk about audio. As you notice, there are no speakers here. The way I handle my audio is the PlayStation outputs optical out. I take the optical out, I actually have a splitter again, alright? So here's a splitter. I'll tell you in the description below what it is. The splitter is called Toslink Optical Audio Splitter Distribution Amplifier and Distributor Multiplier. Like they're going in, you know, like on the keywords in case you're searching on Amazon. But it works well. It literally has two inputs where I put just one, the PlayStation inputs into it, and then it has four outputs. I only use two. The first one goes into the mix amp. That's where I mix all the audio and everything else. And you don't really get any delay since it's optical. It's pretty good. And the second one goes into a little splitter that I have. I'm not even gonna link that. That's not that necessary because I have a. I guess I have just a simple radio, one of those big radios with CD stuff and all that. And the speakers are to my side, over to the side. We're not gonna pan there. Really not that interesting. But that's how I get the audio out. And what's nice about the splitter, it splits at both times. So for instance, right now, if I click out, I should be getting the ambient PlayStation sound in my headphones. There it is. If I turn, let's unplug this so you can see better, switch this over, turn here, you might be able to hear the PlayStation ambient sound. Because I have just a very old audio, actually video splitter too. It's one of those, not component, RCAs I think, the yellow, white and red. And it changes from number one, when I put number one, it's my PC. And from number 4, I just put PlayStation 4. And before that, when I had a 360 and PS3 connected and everything, I had the 2 and 3 also selected. So I would bridge the audio since I only have one stereo system. That's kind of the best way to put it. Alright, so that was kind of an intro. I know this is probably longer than I would have hoped. I would have thought that I would have done a 5-minute video. It's probably like 15, but in a nutshell, that is my setup, my stream setup. Not to mention, here's a green screen. I can link this one as well below. This is the one I use. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas. I keep it handy. I like to use the green screen on games that are not Battlefield, because then it looks more professional on the YouTube channel when I make that video. And I don't know, when I stream Battlefield, since it's daily, I don't mind having a background, having a Mario in a band or whatever. So that is my setup. Anything else to say? I don't know, I mean, just thank you all for watching. Really, I can't believe that I get to share games with you. Like I said, I used to play so many hours just by myself or with my best friend, and my best friend's working now a lot. So having you guys play with me, it really does mean a lot to me. I always say my favorite part of the stream is the chat session. I get to know you guys. It is phenomenal. Thank you all for watching. Thank you guys for your support, and who knows where this channel's going. Thank you for watching. Stay classy, guys.